In this episode, Erika Allison joins us to speak about heart-centered leadership and social impact investing.
Hey everybody, my name is Erika Allison and I work at Willow. I wanted to talk to you about the perspective of heart-centered leadership from an employee's point of view. And I just want to tell you, I don't think I'm alone in saying this. One of my deepest longings is to feel meaning with what I'm doing with my life. And if COVID has done anything for me, it's emphasized that feeling of cutting out the fluff of what doesn't matter and really focusing my attention in on what matters and what do I really want to be doing with my time and energy. And there's something about heart-centered leadership that I find inspiring and it draws me in. I want to be in a place where there's heart-centered leadership. Being able to bring my entire self to work and know that that's going to be embraced and included, it just makes space. It makes space for me, for my creativity. I feel like I can blossom more as a contributor in that way when I feel that kind of safety and inclusivity and the love that a heart-centered leadership culture creates. So if I could appeal to leaders right now, this work is worth doing. It's worth doing because it matters to employees. And I also want to spin the table a little bit and talk about our company from an investment perspective, because part of this topic is investing in our future. When it comes to investing, we now have power as individuals to look at where is our money going? Where are we spending our money as consumers and where are we investing our money? Because those investment decisions have power and they make change. So what we do with Willow is we're actually looking at leadership. This is how heart-centered leadership connects in with investments. We want to know who is running the companies that are getting the investment dollars and are they doing the work that Pascal talked about, the work that Alexandra modeled with herself as a leader. Are they doing the things that as these bigger companies get bigger, that are acting responsibly in the world? And we get to control that. We get to have a say in that. Each and every one of us who are watching this now can have a say in that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of gender lens and socially responsible investing, because it is one of the most powerful tools we have right now as we decide what is the world going to look like in a post-COVID society. We get to decide how we show up and we get to hold these companies accountable. So I want to talk a little bit about what that means. So when we talk about socially responsible investing or consuming, the first step of it is awareness. And it comes with unpacking and knowing where is my money actually going. And I know for myself, just as an investor, there's a lot of things, if I look at my retirement account or if I look at other tools that I put money into, it's not always really transparent where that is. I've had buckets before that'll say, okay, you're retiring in 20 or 30 years, so just put your money in the 30-year bucket. But what we get to do now when we come into this age of more consciousness and more awareness is we get to look into that bucket and say, okay, well that bucket says retire in 30 years, but what's behind that? What companies are in that bucket? And start to unpack that a little bit. Who are these companies? And what do they stand for? And how does that align with my own personal values of what I care about? And some big categories to look at are the environment and social impact and leadership. Those are ones I would recommend looking into. How does the company that my money is now sitting in, their stocks, how does that company treat the environment? How do they treat the planet? What's the impact they're making? And are they seeming to make an effort into doing that differently or being more aware of that or making improvements? It's not a perfect system, we know this, but the leadership and how heart-centered the leadership can be shows what the priorities are and what the intentions are. And it's important that each of us take our power back and look at how are these companies treating our environment, our planet? How are they looking at communities? How are they looking at the employees? I started this conversation by saying that I feel better when I show up in an environment at work that is respectful of who I am, and it includes me, and it empowers me and values who I am. So how do companies treat the employees that work for them? And how are they treating the communities where they're housed? Every company is based in a community somewhere, and they can be completely oblivious to that community and just use the community as a resource to make themselves more powerful and strong, or they can look at that community as part of the ecosystem where they live and thrive. And then they can give back to that community in the same way that that community is giving to them as a company. And then the last piece is leadership. who is running these companies and what are their values? What are they caring about? Do they have coaches? Are they doing that work to try to make themselves show up better as a leader? This is the age of transparency, and this is the time that we have a say. We don't have to accept the biggest of the big companies making decisions on our behalf. We actually can be a part of these decisions, and we do that by voting with our dollars. We do that by paying attention to where our dollars are going, both consuming and investing. So in summary, I would just say that heart-centered leadership really is one of the pathways forward in the new world. How much of your heart are you really showing up with when you come to the office? And how much are you sharing with your employees your love that you have for what you're doing, for what you care about, what you're passionate about? It's okay to bring that to work. In fact, I won't think less of you as a leader if you bring your heart to work. I'll actually think more of you as a leader, because it's going to inspire me to connect with you in ways that maybe weren't normal in the past way of doing business, but is absolutely the way forward in a post-COVID society. So take back your power, look at where your money is going, how are you consuming, how are you investing, are you really supporting things that you truly believe in? This is the time for heart-centered leadership and for showing up in a heart-centered way and letting the heart be the guide for what feels right in the world. And that's how we move forward together. So I hope you'll join me on that path.